Yes. So let's discuss. CNN political commentator Sally Cohn, host of the State of the Resistance podcast, is with us, and also here conservative commentator Carrie Sheffield. She is the national editor for Accuracy in Media. Carrie, I'll start with you because you wrote an op-ed this week and said that the Democrats have hijacked the Me Too movement for political gain. But now we have not just Democrats calling for an investigation, but at least some Republicans too.
Sure, and Senator Jeff Flake, I've reported on him, interviewed him since 2006. I'm a fellow BYU graduate like him. I respect him. I understand why he's doing this. I personally, on Thursday, felt like I had enough information if I was in the Senate to vote yes, a strong yes for Judge Kavanaugh, but I understand that some people, maybe to get them over the finish line, they want to see a bit more confirmation for what we already know, that there is no evidence for these really spurious allegations that are truly, there's a crime that they're alleging, a crime. And so to weaponize, women's rights and use them for political purposes. There was 8 weeks between when Senator Feinstein had these allegations of a sexual assault crime and did nothing about them. This is truly, truly despicable.
Well, remember that she was asked to keep this to herself, that accuser wanted to remain anonymous, so she in many ways respected the wishes of this woman. She
could have done it in a redacted form. Additionally, the fact that the judge was in her presence for an hour in an interview with Senator Feinstein, and she said nothing about these accusations. It is so clear that you cannot look at it in isolation. What's happening here is more and more smearing by the left. This happened to John McCain. They called him a racist, a white supremacist in 2008 when he was running against Barack Obama.
No,
it is not a rabbit hole. It is a pattern of. It is a pattern.
The Democrats didn't do to Neil Gorsuch. So if this is a strategy, why wasn't it a strategy before? And I just want to be clear about something. First of all, the burden was always on Kavanaugh to show the Senate and the American people that he is qualified both technically and ethically to a lifetime Supreme Court appointment, period. And so he has to show that. Now, I want to be clear about something else here. It is ridiculously offensive to not only not take serious the accusations of women because they weren't the perfect victim or they didn't report at the perfect time, but now to also insinuate that they don't have the autonomy to speak up and speak out for their own reasons, but are being used or manipulated. That's just disgusting.
Her claims were taken very seriously. The entire United States Senate was held at a standstill for allegations that wouldn't make it past local court.
Just a second.
The entire balance of the Supreme Court is holding on.
I got to push back for just a second, though, because when you say that her accusations were taken very seriously, we had the president come out and say that if they were true, she would have gone to police right after it happened. Her loving parents would have made a police report. We had Judge Kavanaugh himself talking about this all being essentially a big smear campaign. I mean,
can I also say
an economy of $20 trillion is brought to a standstill. The United States Senate, one of the most powerful bodies in the entire world, is brought to a standstill to hear this woman's allegations. That is taking her seriously, and it is incredibly partisan and truly deplorable as someone who is a survivor of sexual assault to see how this has been weaponized, because Democrats, they did not do the proper protocol. When someone has alleged sexual assault, you're supposed to, as the Republican questioner said, you need to conduct a thorough forensic interview. That did not happen by these Democrats. They were not taking it seriously. They were trying to plan their strategy on how they can weaponize sexual assault, and it is truly disgusting. And Lindsey Graham is absolutely right, and I hope that Judge Kavanaugh is confirmed.
There are two things that are happening here. First of all, one, the country needs to decide, the Senate needs to decide, should Kavanaugh have a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court? As I said, that has always been up to him to prove he is qualified technically and morally and ethically for that promotion, number one. Number two is, do we handle this debate in such a way, both Democrats and Republicans, that makes it clear to women in this country that if you speak out about sexual assault, the 1 in 3 women in this country who will experience sexual assault in their lifetimes, who do not report for reasons you and I both know very well, that if you speak out, you will be respected. You will be treated with respect. You will not be shamed, smeared, and attacked. Now, let me be clear about something. There were Republican senators, including Orrin Hatch, including Chairman Grassley, including Lindsey Graham, who made very clear, sure, we'll allow this testimony. We'll hear them out, and we'll hear the accuser, but it doesn't matter. Either I don't believe her, I'm voting for her anyway, before she testified, or in the case of Grassley, you know what? Even if he did do this, he's a good guy now.
No, that is
I'm
not
sorry.
what happened, Sally. That is not what happened.
That is.
Let me ask you a
that's
question,
fact.
Sally, because to the point about the politics of the situation, there is a reality here that politics are in play. So if this FBI investigation happens and they come back and there is no clear answer as to what happened and no definitive, nothing's cleared up definitively, then do Democrats still have legs to stand on to try to block the nomination other than he's conservative
look,
justice?
let's I know this is hard to do in this moment, but let's be clear about something. Democrats were clear from the beginning, certainly once the facts came out about Kavanaugh's record and certainly after his initial hearings, that they weren't going to support him. And they weren't going to support him, first of all, because they only got to see 90. They did not get to see 93% of his record. And they were not going to support him because of the several inaccuracies and misstatements he made during his testimony. So let's be clear. For their legitimate reasons, that's not what issue here. The issue is Republicans who were going to support Kavanaugh before these allegations were made, as it is their understandable right to do so, are they still going to support him in the face of these allegations? And does the FBI investigation, if there are facts that any doubt, we have a shred of doubt, do we have a shred of doubt? Are we comfortable saying, not only to the people of this country, but the women of this country, you know what? We're not sure. He may be guilty. We don't know. But hey, it's okay. We're still going to give him the job. There are other judges.
There are other judges. I listen to you, Sally. What you are doing is intellectually dishonest, and you are reflecting many, many Democrats who are fundamentally rejecting due process, forensic evidence, data, statistic. I mean, everything that would build a legitimate case to present sexual assault. We are telling women you don't actually need to do that. And the way you protect yourself, as Gretchen Carlson told me in an interview, is about evidence. And if we don't believe in evidence, we don't have a judicial system. If we don't have a judicial system, we do not have the rule of law.
There may not be.
This is not a trial.
There may not.
This is not a trial.
It is a trial. It is a criminal charge of which she is alleged.
Okay,
it is a crime.
Do you believe
trial?
I think she believed, the way she testified, that there was some sort of sexual assault that happened to her. And as someone who was sexually assaulted, I understand how it does alter the trajectory of your life. I absolutely do.
But do you believe that something happened to her? But when she says with 100% certainty that she knows who her attacker was, you are questioning whether she knows who her attacker is?
The fact that
according
to due process, she has not said a date, a location. She could not explain how it was that she was 6.2 miles away from the nearest location, potentially of the radius of the alleged attack. The fact that she has so many holes, she didn't even know the most basic information. The people who are...
it sounds to me like you believe Judge Kavanaugh over Ford.
I believe evidence. And so this is what, when I see women dressed up like the Netflix, with the bonnets and the red robes to say, we are moving toward a dystopian society. We're moving toward this, world where facts and science don't matter. This is where liberal women would take us. It is a rejection of the rule of law, of due process. And what Judge Kavanaugh said in his thing was, if you had a father or a son who was alleged to have committed this vile crime without due process and evidence, how would you feel about that? How would you feel if your father was accused of this?
Less than 2% of rape accusations end up being false. So I'm more worried about more worried about the ones that are real. And let's be clear about this. This is not a trial. This is an interview for a job promotion. So we decide, the American people decide, the Senate decides to get it or not. And I want to be clear about something. What the Senate is, what Senate Republicans are signaling, and what you're signaling. You're right, I guess. You're right. We're not entering some dystopian moment. We're in a dystopian moment, saying that, well, you know what? Excuse me. That given he said versus she said, you know what? We're going to go out of our way to believe the man.
That's
what
facts.
we're going to go.
You're going to believe data, evidence.
You're going to go out of your way.
You don't have to have
witnesses.
You don't have to have
witnesses. Sally Cohn, Carrie Sheffield. I appreciate you both, and we know this is something that is a passion point for so many of us. We're all women. We all care. Thank you both for being here with us.